This video is brought to you by cdkeys.com, where you can get a plethora of Windows and video game related keys very cheap. Most of you guys are probably looking to get a cheap copy of Windows 10 Pro. You can get a copy using the code MUS to save an additional 30%. You can get Windows 10 Pro OEM for $15.50, Windows 10 Pro Home OEM for $12.50, Office 2019 discounted, Office 26 discounted. You can get bundles with Windows 10 and Office. You can even get Windows 11. I'll leave links in the description box below. Once you get your key, it's easy to redeem and you'll be on your merry way. Links in the description box down below. Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to talk a little bit about the Final Fantasy VII Remake PC Port, which is considered by just about everyone to be an absolute disappointment. We'll talk a little bit about that. I didn't drop $70 to pick it up. Actually, it would be $60 since Epic Games is running their holiday sale, but nevertheless, I didn't drop $60 or $70 on it. We'll talk about that quick, and I do want to go over a couple new Steam releases that did catch my attention. But first of all, Final Fantasy VII Remake PC Port got a lot of attention, and not for the right reasons. The PC port is a disaster. Digital Foundry did a lot of coverage on it, and yeah, they have the most in-depth coverage on the remake's port, and also PC Gamer has an article posted. There's a lot of videos people have uploaded. Unfortunately, if you did drop $60 or $70 on it, that's a really big unfortunate scenario, because the game itself was already pretty overpriced at that price point, given that it is a game from a year and a half ago. I know the PS5 version was $70 when it came out back in June, but even then, I thought the game was a bit overpriced when it came out back in June on the PS5, and it does include the DLC, which is nice, but what's really bad is that the PlayStation 5 upgrade is actually really good. This PC port, on the other hand, is not very good. Right away, if you check out the graphics settings, it is bare bones as hell. You've got display mode, you've got screen resolution, of course, texture resolution, shadow resolution, and that's pretty much it. You have frame rate settings and characters displayed, and then my god, it is very, very bare bones. It looks even more bare bones than the Kingdom Hearts 3 PC port, which that also came together very quickly, and Square Enix generally does have a pretty spotty history with PC ports, but one would also have to question, like, the Final Fantasy VII Remake PC port would obviously be one that would get a lot of buzz and have a lot of attention surrounding it. I'm almost curious, like, they would know that this would get a lot of buzz. Like, if you needed to delay it, you should delay it. I don't know if it's something with the Epic Game Store agreement. Obviously, speculating is all I could do, but is this an instance of Square Enix just taking the L and being like, hey, we know we're gonna get a guaranteed check from Epic Games for this exclusive. Do we really need to put that much work into it until we release the Steam version? I really don't think that's the case, because first of all, that's completely crapping over a business relationship that you already made, but I can understand if your thought process would be, hey, doesn't that incentivize... doesn't that lessen the, it lessens people being incentivized for delivering a high-quality product when you're already guaranteed a lump sum amount of money for releasing the game on the Epic Game Store. And you can make the argument, hey, they're thinking the bulk of the sales are not going to come now, it's going to come when they ultimately release the game on Steam, and I really do believe that. Even if it's a year-long exclusivity period, the game will ultimately sell more copies on Steam than it will on the Epic Game Store. I 100% believe that, but again, that just seems so foolish to do, and you're crapping all over a business relationship if that's the thought process. Hey, we're releasing it on Epic Games Store, we're already guaranteed money, why put any effort into this port? But they didn't put much effort into the Kingdom Hearts port, and that was pretty egregiously priced. And it's not like Square Enix has not released bad PC versions on Steam. Obviously, like the Nier Automata PC version had a lot of flack, and Square Enix has had PC releases that have had flack, but you know, it'll be interesting to see how Forspoken turns out, because that's a game that's coming out on Steam. I mean, Forspoken is also very, very expensive at $70. But if that's a game that drops on PC and is this great PC version, that would be a little bit funny. But that is a game that is running on the Luminous engine, and Final Fantasy 15 was an okay port. Like, it wasn't absolutely disastrous, and it worked pretty well for me, so we'll see how that turns out. But really, really unfortunate situation, because this is a remake that, of course, and a PC port that, of course, a lot of people were looking forward to ever since that PlayStation 4 version was announced with the coming to PS4 first. Well, people were like, okay, ultimately it'll come out on PC, and it'll look really good on PC. That was my thought process, but it does seem like the best version of the game is on PlayStation 5, and from all accounts, there does seem to be quite a bit of stuttering in the game as well, which stuttering is like no must for me. That's probably like the worst thing you could have in a PC release, in my opinion. Like, even light stuttering makes a game unplayable to me. So hopefully things do get ironed out. Hopefully by the time the Steam release comes out in a year, you know, it's at a state where people are going to be happy with it and they'll drop whatever the price point is. And $70 is just still stingy. Once it comes out on Steam, hopefully it's down to like $40 at least, and hopefully it's a much better version. And then, you know, people will check it out at that point. But hopefully this idea of, you know, signing away exclusives where you are getting this guaranteed money, that's always been something I thought of with subscription services like Xbox Game Pass. Yes, to the consumer at this point, it looks really good, but when you're guaranteeing that a publisher, a developer is gonna get this amount of money, and it is really regardless of the quality level of the game and the release, does that create an area where the publishers are like, okay, we just need to get this game out, screw making it absolutely perfect because we are already guaranteed money, we just need to make sure it hits this date? I don't know. I don't think that's going to be the case. It would be really foolish to think so, and I just think this is an isolated instance where something must have gone terribly wrong, because it was also weird how they handled the remake's release, because it got announced and then it came out like a week later. Why you would do that with like a Final Fantasy VII Remake makes no sense to me. This is one you'll want to get a little bit buzz going. You'll want to get it announced, and then you want to promote it a little bit. Look at God of War. They're doing a great job. Like, they announced it, and yes, it's not out. It's not like a 6-month promotional window, but they're giving it a couple months for it to, you know, generate a little bit of buzz, get people excited. And based on what Sony Santa Monica is showing of the God of War port, I'm very confident in thinking that port's going to be really, really good on PC. The FF7 Remake PC release just came together so haphazardly that I just don't know what the, you know, internal ongoings were with the release like this. It's such a strange instance, so hopefully things do get remedied. Hopefully people can get a refund on it if it's not working on your PC, but just a bummer of a situation. Alright, moving on from that, I do want to note a couple of releases that dropped on Steam recently. Ready or Not, this is getting a lot of buzz, and for those of you that played SWAT back in the day, probably going to be right up your alley. It's an early access, a realistic first-person shooter, 4,675 user reviews at this point, overwhelmingly positive reception with 96% positive reviews. $40 is a little bit steep of an early access price point, but if you're looking for a tactical shooter, you know, this one's probably going to be something you'll enjoy. Now, it does note that the game will be in early access for around 12 months. Will the game be priced differently during and after early access period? We intend to increase the price after our first major content update, so that's something to note as well. The game is going to get more expensive. You can get $40, and then there is a supporter edition. But yeah, definitely a game to keep on your radar, and from what I've heard, it's still a game that needs some improvements and whatnot, but it just dropped in early access, and if it's going to be in early access for a year, a lot of room for improvement. Also, do want to quickly note, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance just dropped on Steam. Obviously, this is a classic, you know, RPG that you'll be very, very familiar with if you played RPGs in the early 2000s. Dungeon crawling action RPG here, obviously shows its age a little bit. I had this on the PlayStation 2 way back in the day. Definitely an RPG that's catered more towards a PC audience, but nice to see that being available on Steam as well. That's $29.99, which, a little bit pricey on that end. Hopefully it gets a little bit cheaper, and then might be something worth checking out. But that's going to do it for me. Again, if you checked out the FF7 Remake PC port, or you have any opinions, let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Ready or Not, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, 2 titles to keep an eye on. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.